Legends, our people squad. Here we are. We've got plenty to talk about from a week that was okay. He's kind of got out of it all right. Still ranking around that 1762, and we've been sitting around that 1500 to 1700 for the last few weeks now, and a bunch of things have happened that haven't been delightful. We obviously held on to Teddy, and he ends up coming back eventually and not scoring as well. We decided not to trade last week, and then we have Rhys Walsh getting dropped to the bench in the last minute, and the players that we were interested in trading to, like a Barnett, for example, got a 40-odd, and he may get limited minutes going forward, so that was good we didn't trade to him, but we had an option of trading to Fisher-Harris, who came out and got 66, which would have been 30 more than who we were trading him out for in Fui, so there's that there. The other option was Clemmer, who got a 40-odd as well, so there's that there. We had some chat around bringing in a half, but when we already have Moses, Cleary, Walsh was playing the halves, you got Walker, all those guys there, Schuster playing there. There was a decision made to not bring in a half, so probably worked out okay. And we've kind of got through this period not too bad with Teddy being out, Pap and Mom, so it'll be interesting to see if those guys are back this week, which you definitely hope so. But 292k in the bank and 23 trades remaining, so I'm kind of glad we actually held off on 2 trades, or at least one of them. Going into this week, and we ended up with a score of, I believe, 944. So, look, it was okay. Very similar to the score I got in my team there, but round 9 rank of 14,104 isn't great. You see there was a bunch of teams actually I saw with 1,100, so crazy work from them there. But yeah, I decided to bench Walsh in the team and play Fui, just close to 80 minutes in the centres over 20 or 30, depending what he's going to get on the bench. I thought was a smarter option, and obviously panned out all right, even though Walsh got some attacking stats. So let's go through the team with Brayley as our rock up top. Angus Kreiden was obviously a bit of a killer. People are talking about him as being this such terrible option now, and like, oh, we've got to trade him out. Can we actually look at this? Because seriously, he has 2 bad scores all year, and he's played, 8 games? Yeah, he missed 1 game. He has 67, 54, 70, 67 were his first 4 games of the year. Okay, really terrible. Just a 60 average, just a 62 average. He then picks up a 38 when they get hammered against the Storm. Okay, didn't run too much, right? 92 meters, 6 missed tackles. Okay, a bit of an off game. That's fine. He comes back with 61 and 70. Everyone was like, yeah, we're going to trade him in again. And like, what's the up and down feels? I don't understand this at all. He comes out and gets a 36, obviously, on the weekend, and didn't do too much again. Limited run meters when the Eels were dominating them. Roosters are a decent team. When they play pretty well, he's going to get 60 to 70, and that's when everyone's like, oh, I want him in my side. Yes, he's lost a bit of cash now, but that makes it even worse about trading him out. You pick up someone at the start of the season at 833, and then you're trading him out at 700 or whatever he is now, 731. I think is a big mistake. I don't see any reason to trade him out. I've heard a lot of people that are thinking about it this week. I think it's very silly. Similar with Watson as well. You've at least got to hold him until 13's done, and you can trade him out in 14 if you like, if you're worried about his minutes. But he's a PPM man, and if he's at least getting 40, then you expect a 40 score. If he happens to have games where there's an injury, then he moves into halves, or he plays bigger minutes or something like that. So I feel like that'd be stupid too, to move him on, for example. With Tohu Harris holding the team together, surely he becomes he's a 19%. Yeah, surely he becomes a 20-odd% owned player. He's close to the best mid, apart from Payne Haas, for example, and Papali'i. Like, they're your top 3, really. Haas, Pups, and Harris there. So, awesome work from him. Fafita was 76, even with the sim bit at the end. So, well done to him with the vice captain there. Schuster with 38. And again, people are worried about him. And it's like, yeah, okay. He's had a couple of lower scores, a couple of better ones, but averaging 50. You at least hold until 13 and play from there if you want to move him on at the 13 mark, or you can hold him a bit longer, up to you. Halves with 64 for Moses, 88 for Cleary. Perfect from those two, can't complain at all. In our centres, this was a position that wasn't that crash hot, apart from if you had Jack Bird, for example, this week. So 39 from Peach is fine, and a 30 from Averillo. They were both kind of, you would have expected some higher scores just based on how they were playing through the game. But you'll take the 30 and 39 as not much of an issue there. A little bit more of an issue with guys like Teddy and Laurie with 34 and 26 respectively. But again, the question is, I can't believe Teddy's 584k. It's incredible. So the question everyone's asked themselves is Teddy past it? Is he done in fantasy? Blah 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 blah. Yes, he scored a bunch of tries in the first part of the year. He's just having a bit of a slump. I think, some people are even saying, does he not make Origin? Like, literally, you've raved on him for the last 3 years, saying he's the best player in the world, whatever, and then you're going to sit there and say that he shouldn't play Origin. Like, I don't get it. Everyone just lives in the last 3 games, don't they? Last 1 game. We've talked about it with keepers in the past, is that if they've done it for 3 or 4 years, then they're going to do it again. Like, unless they have a bad injury and they're carrying something, they're going to do it again. We're jumping on these guys that are just, fresh and new to the scene and haven't had 6 months or, a year to a couple of years of playing really, really good footy and scoring really, really high points. And yeah, obviously some guys are outdoing it in like a Papali'i or something like that who haven't had a track record of really, really good scores. But guys like Kreiden and Harris and these guys, like Harris has at least done it for a year before he's done this, and he showed that his role has changed. He's getting 80 through the middle. Teddy will come back and be good. It's just the question is, do you want to hold him as he misses a bunch of games? And you'd expect that he's going to be backing up in a lot of the Roosters games as well. So, if he's missing 2 games over the rest of the season and you're trading him out at 584, I think that's a silly decision. That's again just my opinion, but that's completely up to you. With trades being at a premium, you're going to be wanting to trade pretty heavy over the buy periods, and I think you can try and select someone else, because I personally will be targeting him in my team. If he sits around that 580, 600k mark, I think he's an absolute steal going into the back end of the year, because you're going to want him. There's no question about it. He's going to average more than Tom Trbojevic this year. Mark that down. That's the call. As well as Tommy's playing. Like, Tommy's at literally the peak of his powers, and Teddy's having a bit of a down year, let's say. He started really well, but he's down a down month, let's say. But he's had a concussion. He's had a few things going on, where he's been knocked about, and even got hit last week as well on the head, and could have almost gone off with that. So keep that in your mind. Dane Laurie, just hold until let him play round 13 and move him on. On our interchange, we've obviously got Spencer, who didn't play, and he could possibly be a trade out, but I still think that they played in big minutes in New South Wales Cup, so he could come in and play good minutes in the 13 round. So think about that if you're wanting to trade him out. Be nice to see what's happening with Mommy, if he gets his spot back in the centres. If he doesn't, then it was a bit of a waste of holding him. But I suppose it's hard to tell if he was playing well himself. So everyone's like, he's a keeper and you got to hold him, and I agree with that. Pap's in there. We got him coming back hopefully this week. But Simpkin, Fui, Walker, and Stefano. So really not happy at all with the caliber that we have on the interchange at the moment. Obviously our starters are all pretty strong, but the caliber on the interchange not very strong. We have 300k in the bank, and I think it's probably a good week to upgrade one of these guys. Be interesting to see what's happening with Walker, because if he's carrying a bit of an injury going into these next few weeks, and then they don't play around 13, he could be someone that we decide to look to move on at 536k. Fui, will he play centre going forward? If he does and he gets 80 minutes, then I'd expect to maybe a 30 average, not a 37, but that's what it is. Simpkin got a try, and thankfully he did, because he would have been around the 20-odd mark with his scoring, unfortunately. Stefano with limited minutes, similar to like Alvaro, for example, with 28. So this is the area of our game that we need to fix, but obviously with Pap and Mom coming back, then we can bolster things up a little bit. Obviously, it probably means we're like playing Laurie and Averillo on the bench, so not too dissimilar in terms of average scores and stuff like that, but just a tough week for our bench, and that's why we're sitting with a 944. With Kreiden there as well as a bit of a downer, and Teddy, for example, rather than in the thousands like some other coaches out there. So again, nothing too much to be alarmed about. We're still ranked very high at 1762 in that top 1% there, so can't really complain. This is where the team's at. What do you think we should do this week, guys? Obviously, we were looking to do one trade, and it kind of didn't come into fruition. So let me know what you think this week. Obviously, if Walker's out for a few weeks, for example, then we could trade up 300k. We could get something 820 odd or better there. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Really appreciate all the support so far, and we'll catch you in the next video, guys, where I'll update you on how my team went and also the alternates. So there you go. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.